Playing Stardew Valley alone on your own is already a ton of fun, like an unrealistic amount of fun. But playing with friends or family can be even better. But there are some things you need to know before you dive into multiplayer for the first time. You can start a multiplayer specific playthrough by clicking co-op in the menu instead of new or load. Everything here is pretty much exactly the same as a normal playthrough, but there is one thing that is pretty important. You can choose if all players will share gold with each other or if each player will have their own gold and will need to sell their own stuff to make money. This choice will pretty much be based on who you're playing with. If you are playing with people that you can trust, you can pick shared gold. But if you're playing with random people, it might make sense for each player to have their own gold. If you already have a single player playthrough, you can still play co-op on that farm. All you need to do is build a cabin by visiting Robin's carpentry store. The cabins are incredibly cheap and you can build a cabin with only 10 wood and 100 gold if you wanted to. When your cabin is built, you will need to quit to the main menu, click co-op, and then select your farm in the co-op menu. Now you can show off your farm to anyone. If someone does troll and grief you on your farm, just quit before you sleep so the changes are not saved. Now that you have a co-op farm ready to go and have some of your best friends playing with you, there is something very important to do. To gain farming experience, you will need to harvest crops. You do not get any experience from planting crops or watering them. With that in mind, all you need to do is convince your friend that watering crops gives you experience. Then you can get them to do all of the watering on your farm and you can just harvest the crops for the experience. Now you can go off and do some fun stuff while your friend waters all of the crops for you. A great plan indeed. Playing Stardew Valley in multiplayer has its advantages and disadvantages. One of the biggest disadvantages is the game will no longer auto-pause. Whenever you open up your inventory in a normal playthrough, the game will pause. The game will also pause when you harvest a crop, process geodes, and eat food. You usually won't even notice that the game is being paused, but it actually makes a single day last a lot longer. In multiplayer, this pausing mechanism is not present. You will see that the day seems to go by much faster. Before you could process 100 geodes at 9 AM, and by the time you are done, it would still be 9 AM. In multiplayer, time will go by and you can spend an entire day sitting by Clint processing geodes. In single player, when you're in trouble in the mines, you could usually just eat some food and all of the enemies will be stuck in place during your eating animation. But in multiplayer, the enemies will continue to fly right at you, meaning you will have to time your health recovery much better because it's considerably easier to die. If you have played Stardew Valley in single player for a long time and you're just trying multiplayer out for the first time, it is actually a huge adjustment that takes some time to get used to. Having more players means that you should be making more money and collecting valuable resources twice as fast. But at the same time, you will also be using resources twice as fast as well. Instead of upgrading a single axe or buying one backpack upgrade, you will need to buy these upgrades for every player, meaning it actually evens out. You might even be less efficient compared to a single player playthrough, but it is definitely worth it. The memories that you can make together is a good enough reason to lose some efficiency. Naturally, there are some advantages to playing Stardew Valley in co-op, especially in the early game. You can divide tasks up between all players and completing the community center early becomes even easier. One player can scout out the map looking for forageables while the other player can be fishing, effectively allowing you to double down on your progress, which is a nice addition. There is also one major benefit that will help you out a ton in the early game. When you are in a multiplayer playthrough, you can go into your bed and then click no so you don't sleep and then just sit there in your bed. This will restore your energy slowly over time. It is similar to going to the spa, but it is right here at your farm and is available from day one. You can water all of your crops and then sit on your bed until your energy is full while you wait for Pam to get to the bus at 10 AM. Being able to recover your energy for free is actually game changing. Naturally, you need a way to communicate with your friends, right? Well, you can be in a Discord call if you want to, or you can press T to type a message. But nothing beats emotes. There is an emote wheel that you can pick an emote, and then the game will play a short animation with a sound effect to convey something. But did you know that there are hidden emotes? Type /emote into the chat section and there will be a list of emotes that can be displayed to you. To use these emotes, type /emote followed by the name of the emote. There are still a few other hidden emotes like the taunt and the music emotes. Here is a full list of all the emotes you can use, and some of them are really fun. I really like the music emote and the taunt emote, and I wish I knew about these earlier. This is probably the most important thing in this video. As you play together in a co-op, you will eventually start to level up your skills and get to pick professions. This is how professions work in co-op. When you sell something, the game will check every player's professions, and it will apply the profession that will result in an item selling for the highest amount. Meaning, if one player has the artisan profession, but the other player has the agriculture's profession, wine that is sold will be sold as if all players had the artisan profession, even if player 2 places the wine into the shipping bin. This means that each player can and should pick different professions, as all the players will gain the benefit of most of the professions. If player 1 picks the artisan profession and player 2 pick the agriculturist profession, then all crops will grow faster and all artisan goods will sell for more. It just makes sense to split the professions between all players to gain the maximum amount of benefits that the professions have to offer. If you already have a playthrough and didn't do this, you can reset your professions by donating 10,000 gold to this dog statue in the sewers. Then everyone can pick the professions carefully to really turn your farm into a thriving success. It is important to note that this does not work on all professions. If a player picks the shepherd profession, that makes you befriend barn animals faster, then the other player will not get that specific bonus. This is easy to fix. Just let the expert pet the barn animals instead. Playing co-op also has the amazing benefit of doubling down on quest rewards. This works especially well for Mr. Key's special order requests. If you complete a key quest that would reward you with 100 key gems, all players would get that reward, meaning you can earn 200 or even 400 key gems instead of the normal 100. This is actually game-changing, and it makes completing these quests in multiplayer extremely rewarding. Those are just some of the things that make multiplayer different to a normal single-player playthrough. I am sure there are many more differences and tips and tricks, so if you have any, please drop them in the comments below. And if you like this video, consider hitting subscribe. It really helps out the channel and it's completely free. But for now, I will see you in the next video.